Think about solutions and treatments and trials for people who have been traditionally disadvantaged and neglected in MS.
Suffer is because nobody cares about stopping or slowing down their disease when they've got more advanced disease.
Only people with relapsing forms of the disease become eligible for treatments, and therefore we have a large population of people who are essentially neglected.
People with EDSS 6.5 and above are being removed from a disease-modifying treatment. This is exactly what the NHS is asking us to do now, but I fundamentally disagree with that.
We want treatment for all, so no matter where in the spectrum of MS you may be, we want to be able to offer people an option, give them hope.
We've divided up MS into these false categories: clinical isolated syndrome, relapsing remitting MS, secondary and primary progressive MS, and we think it should be one disease.
It's very important because we tended to think there's an inflammation early on, then neurodegeneration, treat with anti-inflammatory treatments, too late, it's not going to help. And this concept is not challenged.
Just as nerve damage is occurring right from the get-go and lesions are occurring right from the get-go, they occur late in disease as well. And as we're not monitoring people very, very often, we miss them.
Not only is the concept that there is inflammation, but there is also evidence that targeting that inflammation reduces progression.
Unfortunately, we have been treating advanced MS very differently from early or relapsing MS. Although there is no strong scientific background for that at all.
So for many years we've just focused on EDSS because that's what the regulators want to see in effect, and that's to see whether the drugs work on mobility and walking.
As soon as people are essentially unable to walk, and no further treatment or in fact trial eligibility is a given.
And that's why we focus on upper limb function. And if you've got the disease, you realise that your hands become your legs when you can't walk anymore. So these things will keep you independent.
A length-dependent neural damage in MS, if one loses leg function or their mobility, they still have a salvageable upper limb function.
Yet this is not being considered valuable enough to target with treatment.
And under those circumstances, people are being penalised by a set of arbitrary criteria.
Not in wheelchairs. So we're looking beyond the wheelchair. We want to focus on people that are already in wheelchairs. They can still got arm function.
We are setting up a trial ourselves in a population that has a higher EDSS but has retained upper limb function.
This is an opportunity to look at what neurological functions that they have residual can be salvaged by treatment.
CHARIOTMS uses a well-established and safe disease-modifying treatment that is licensed for people with earlier relapsing MS.
For progressive disease, you've got to target the cells that are sat in the brain. And so the only drug that really has that capacity to do that is cladribine. The other drugs don't really get in the brain at all.
And we know that we can actually impact on that when we test areas that have retained brain reserve, the upper limb function, that is speech, swallowing, cognitive function, that can still be preserved.
The biggest obstacle is convincing the community that the disease is modifiable. Most people think it's too late.
But also train our colleagues who may still themselves be very much driven by the EDSS mindset. Part of changing the game is that in the future we may have new trials.
We need more than just one drug.
Drugs to stop inflammation, drugs to protect nerves, medications to remyelinate nerves.
Nearly 40% of people with MS are at this stage. CHARIOTMS MS could have a massive impact for people with advanced MS. If we were able to prove that there is a significant effect compared to placebo in the trial, this could be a real game changer for the management of people with advanced MS.